I also want to share a story out of my neighborhood at a time when my daughter kind of felt isolated due to the pandemic, maybe even needed a little bit of help. So this is a wonderful story that I want to share with you. This started when a stray dog showed up at our doorstep. Just a simple dog, and I looked at the dog and I said, "Who are you?" Well, guess what? We found out that the dog was named Sundance, showed up on our door, wouldn't leave. My daughter fell in love, no tag, no collar, but I went to social media saying, "Where is the owner of this dog that my daughter really is begging us to keep?" Well, sure enough, a neighbor who I had not met before named Nancy, she came and got the dog, left flowers as a thank you. Turned out Sundance in recent days had been her savior. But guess what happened on the next day and the next day after that? Nancy came to our house, took my daughter's hand, and took her for a walk around the block every day. Pretty soon, dog parties, dog dress-up parties with Sundance, who connected us as neighbors. And then we met other neighbors who'd felt shut in during the pandemic. This is Joan, who went through a hard loss and got this dog to try to heal her heart. Pretty soon, Nancy and Joan became friends as well with my daughter. You know, we're a two-dad household, and so it was great to see Ryan get some mother figures in her life. So for all of my neighbors on Evening Rock Street, there's my sweet friend Bob, there's Nancy, and there's Nancy again, and Joan, and all of your dogs. Thank you for showing the Bay Area what it means to be a good neighbor. And thanks to a dog who knocked on my door.
Yeah, and brought you all together, and just to see your daughter there with that puppy and how happy she is, and what it created out of that moment was lifelong friendships, and you are still friends with Nancy.
Yep.
Yeah, that is so very sweet.
Love her very much.
Okay, so I want to share with you a little story from my neighborhood. That's my little guy who started this initiative to have notes put on our window. The reason is because during the pandemic, as you know, just like Reed was sharing right now, a time of loneliness and need for a lot of people. My mom went through something very difficult. She was diagnosed with stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. She's okay now, but it was a very difficult time. We couldn't be there with her physically or in person. So when she came home, he wanted her to feel welcomed and loved, and our neighbors rallied behind us and around us, bringing notes every single day. My son just put one note up there asking if you could share some love to my Nana, it would be appreciated. And so many people reached out. Just goes to show you how wonderful it is to get to know your neighbors. So I'm going to shout out my neighbors who did this. Michelle, I know you're watching. Miss Noreen, who's like a grandmother to my kids. Skip and Doreen, who are such good friends of ours. People in our community who have just shown up and really have made a difference, and right there in such a time of need for us as well. And I'll never forget that, and neither will my family.
Yeah, you can't forget love. When you felt love, experienced love, and given love, it becomes a part of everything you do and who you are. So on this National Good Neighbor Day, we at CBS Bay Area, your community station, want to thank you as well. So often we get your stories in our email inboxes, and we do sit at our desks and we do shed a few tears because we know you're a part of us. We hope when you come here, when you tune in, you'll know that we feel that, and it's our heartbeat here.
It is. It's bringing all these communities together. And, you know, we asked people, and you mentioned it earlier, asking your neighbor for a cup of sugar. You know, it's something you might need to, especially during the holidays, and 53.3% of you say yes, you would feel comfortable walking next door, asking your neighbor for a cup of sugar. Now, those 46.7% of you said no. I hope you have a nice neighbor. If not, maybe go 2 doors down and check in with another neighbor. And just to say hello, because honestly, sometimes when you see a smile on someone's face or just a hi, how are you, it can make the biggest difference in someone's life to know that you're connecting.
That's right, and starting conversations. We hadn't talked to Nancy in a few weeks, and when we called Nancy, we learned that Bob today is in a hospital situation, is going through a hard time, sort of like when you reached out to your favorite music teacher and found he was fighting cancer. It's just those little touch-ins that make us neighbors. That's how you be a neighbor. You touch in and you find out where you can serve and where you can help. So if all of you could hold a prayer for Gianna's wonderful music teacher and his cancer battle and my friend Bob, I'd sure appreciate it.